They've done it yet again. Did you know that VeChain recently announced the software development kit version 3? I'll get into why in today's video. I think this could maybe be quite revolutionary for the future of VeChain and what I think about it and how I think it could impact it maybe moving forward. However, I first want to clarify, nothing I say is financial advice. I'm not telling anyone to do anything, and this is just personally my perspective. So did you know again that they recently announced the software development kit version 3, but as they put it, SDK version 3, but SDK stands for software development kit. And what's talked about when it comes to this? So did you know that apparently their software development kit version 3, it ships with overhauled reliability, usability, and agent compatibility. They say it's built for human developers and as well as AI builders. And why could this matter? Well, it's because first of all, human builders, right? We do know that there's a lot of developers out there, but at the same time, with the advent of AI, with a lot of people out there caring about that, with a lot of enterprises basically caring about AI, being able to facilitate AI builders as well on top of human developers as well, that's pretty impressive in my opinion. So it kind of opens the doors, I think, for more developers in the case of VeChain, both for human developers and as well as for AI builders as well. I think it's pretty awesome, and I think it turns a new page when it comes to the book of VeChain. That's the way I take a look at it. Now, granted, people like to say, but VET, its primary native token down around 1% in the past 24 hours. But we have to consider the implications of this software development kit goes far beyond 24 hours, 48 hours, and even well beyond 72 hours. I think this could impact VeChain's trajectory moving forward, maybe for years, because again, VeChain isn't known for being unreliable, right? Ever since 2018, allegedly it's had zero network outages. And yet still, even despite that, reliability was a big emphasis when it comes to their software development kit version 3. So let's just let that sink in. VeChain already had a very high standard for reliability anyways, but then they even focus more on that. And I think that, if anything, kind of showcases just the mindset that they have as well, that they even care about these small details. However, also on top of that, below this post, they mention how for new developers entering through the Ethereum virtual machine equivalence pathway, it is the starting point. Why does this matter? Well, it's because Ethereum is a very massive layer 1 blockchain. So I think this right here is a pretty awesome thing that they're doing overall. Granted, people like to say, but no one's really going to care when it comes to VeChain's focus, but we have to consider this update right here really had a big emphasis when it comes to AI. Within this space, we saw AI projects have a pretty awesome time not too long ago. But as of right now, it's more so towards stocks. But what happens if that trickles back into this space? VeChain now, I think, has a bigger AI presence when compared to before. I think also now they're putting a bigger emphasis when it comes to that, at least talking more about it and making more upgrades that are geared towards, AI. I think that right there is going to further strengthen VeChain within the AI space when it comes to this space. And I think it puts it in a better position to maybe catch that wave if it were to maybe enter to this space again. I think this is a pretty smart move because now VeChain has two angles, in my opinion, that it could really kind of sort of attack in a sense, right? Because if we take a look at it, for instance, the first angle is of course going to be supply chain management. That is their bread and butter, right? They've been known for that for many years at this point. They're really focused on supply chain management. But AI right there, that's another pathway when it comes to VeChain. Now, they can either be known for AI or as well for supply chain management, which I think is really awesome. I think that showcases the kind of foresight of Sunny Lu, right? Sunny Lu is, of course, the CEO of VeChain. This is the type of stuff he thinks about. I think it's really awesome at the end of the day. Let's not forget, though, when it comes to VET, people like to say, wow, it's so low. It's true. It's around a 600 million market cap. But my thing is Warren Buffett, is he dollar cost averaging when it's low or when it's high? I personally have seen Berkshire Hathaway, right? When they dollar cost average into something, it's usually not when it's high. It's usually when it's kind of low. But that's just my perspective. I'm not telling anyone to do anything. But with VeChain as of right now, being at approximately a 600 million market cap, my thing is, okay, that may be viewed as a bad thing, but some other people actually, while some are exiting, they are entering. It doesn't mean that everyone cares about VeChain because that's not the case, but if we take a look at it, VET is clearly around 8 times lower than where it once was back in December of 2024 in terms of market cap. Around 8 times lower. If I take a look at that right there, if VET just goes back to that from where it is as of right now, I have zero complaints. At that point, I'm going to be dancing, right? If it could do that. Because even though VET going back to that point wouldn't be considered legendary because that's not even the all-time high when it comes to VET. Actually, if we take a look at it, VET back in 2021 reached an almost 14 billion market cap. So of course, around like 5.3 billion market cap. That's really nothing to brag home about, right? But we're still around 8 times lower than that, in which case it's kind of to the point where if it just goes back to that, I'm already like so happy. If Bitcoin goes back to its all-time high, a lot of people I know personally would be very happy, right? But Bitcoin's not like 2 times lower, it's not 3 times lower than that. I mean, it'd make a movement, of course, to go back to that, but it wouldn't be like a 2x from where it is as of right now. And a major reason why I hold VET is because, yes, it's not the biggest project out there. It's not the smallest either, but I like it because if I take a look at a microcap, I'm a little bit scared, I'm just scared of what that microcap could do when it comes to a project like that. Sure, maybe we hear some random, news that, wow, this random microcap made it, or this other one made it. But that's like so rare in some cases. We don't hear about the thousands of others that don't make it. So that kind of scares me. I don't want to do that. But if I take a look at like Bitcoin, for instance, or an Ethereum, granted, they're very massive. Take a look at the Bitcoin ETFs, the Ethereum ETFs. I'm totally aware of that. But if they were to recover, I find it like to just be a little bit boring. So I just find something a little bit in between, right? Something not too massive, not too small either. That way, I'm not like scared of the microcaps and I don't want to believe in that, but also I don't believe in some random dinosaur which is already so massive. So this is kind of like a balance in between for me. And it's to the point where these kind of more mid-tier projects, if they recover, at least there's some action in which would make me a little bit happy, but it doesn't give me kind of the boring vibes of some of the bigger projects. But it doesn't scare me either, like a microcap. And I know some friends out there, they're looking for like an 800% movement or a 900% movement or whatever the case may be. They're looking for that through a microcap, right? But my thing is, if my only intent is to care about 800% or 900% in terms of a movement, I don't know why I would even bother with a microcap at all. The reason why, even though I'm not telling anyone to do anything, is because within the top 100, right? Within the top 200 and stuff like that, there are many projects out there that are down like 800 or 900% from where they once were last year or even the year before. So it's not like if I want to look for that movement, I have to really look beyond the top 200. You know what I mean? I mean, sure, I don't only believe in top 200 projects, but at the same time, I don't want to believe in a project that's ranked like 10,285th or whatever just to look for 800 or 900%. That's not worth it for me. Like, I don't want to do that. Some people out there are looking for like 50,000 or 80,000 or whatever percent. Okay, if they're looking for a microcap, I can't tell them to do anything, right? I mean, that's their choice, but I'm not looking for that though, right? If VET just goes back to where it once was, it's around 8 times lower than that, right? If it just goes back to where it once was in December 2024. I don't want to look for that type of movement through a microcap. That's just my mindset. But I'm not telling anyone to do anything. But it's been a pretty quick update actually when it comes to VeChain because I just kind of wanted to highlight basically their software development kit version 3 and how they made a post about it not too long ago. So I thought it was pretty awesome. So yeah, 2 thumbs up for me. However, I want to say thank you for watching and I hope you all have a very nice day. It's Willie the Captain. I'm a peace. Bye.